What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to Real Reds Talk. My name is Nick McCabe, and boy, do we have some breaking news for you guys. Quite a few bits coming in today about Manchester United, so you'll be interactive, you'll be intrigued to see what these stories are. I'm pretty sure Leny Yoro injury update, that is going to be the main topic for today, as you've probably already seen from the graphic. Anyway, we're going to talk about Amad Diallo's presser last night with the fans and certain channels and what's been said, and I definitely want to get into that because you guys know I love Amad Diallo. We're going to talk about Chido Obi-Martin a little bit because I have done a video on him that's going to drop for the members this week, which I'll also discuss in further detail towards the end of the show. And also Fulham set to bid for McTominay, a new bid, £30 million, according to TalkSport. How true that is, I'm not sure, but we'll talk about it. And we'll also discuss the Real Betis game tonight at 3 a.m, which I guarantee there's not going to be a lot of people waiting up for. If people have work Monday to Friday, there's not a cat in hell's chance that anyone is going to stay up at 3 in the morning to watch Real Betis. I'd love to watch it, but I'm going to wake up, I'm going to go work. I'm probably going to watch it on my dinner, or I'm going to watch it, you know, when I finish work. I'm going to get back so I'm probably, you know, if I stay up till 3, the game finishes at what time? What we saying, about 6 o'clock, 5, 6 o'clock, 2 hours sleep? No chance. No chance. Is it Vince McMahon's tune who's, was it Vince McMahon's song? No chance. That's what you've got. So, yeah, no chance whatsoever. So, let's dive into this Leny Yoro injury update then. And this is coming from Insider United on X. If anyone knows this account, first and foremost, he or she definitely knows someone at Manchester United, because the amount of tweets they've put out that have come to fruition and that hold a lot of truth. I mean, this guy or woman barely misses. So, first and foremost, Leny Yoro could be out for 3 to 6 weeks with the injury that he sustained against Arsenal. Left foot in a protective boot with bandaging just below the knee. So it seems like he's either sprained his ankle or knee, or maybe a little bit of both. But regardless, whichever way you want to look at it, it's not great for our new signing. And let me tell, and I'll dive into the specifics as well. But Rasmus Hojlund isn't looking as bad. Probably a few games or a couple of weeks maximum. And he should be able to play. So at least, you know, if you want to balance it out with the positive, Rasmus isn't the same as Yoro's injury. So that's, you know, fingers crossed he'll be okay. But let's just talk about this injury curse at Manchester United, right? Because Leny Yoro, before he joined United, had 0 injuries, or he picked up like the minorest of minor knocks that you've ever seen in your life. As soon as he comes to Manchester United, he picks up I know people will say it's unlucky, it's just bad luck, or whatever you want to call it. As soon as he comes to United, he's out for 4 to 6 weeks. Brand new signing. It's like, honestly, I don't know if anyone used to watch Pirates of the Caribbean back in the day. I say back in the day like it was released 30 years ago, but Pirates of the Caribbean is probably a decade old now or something, I'd imagine. Do you know when they get that black spot on their hand? I can't remember what it was called. Was it just a black spot? Like the death black spot? It's like we've got an injury one. Like as soon as a player comes, they get marked. I'm pretty sure last season when we signed Hojlund, he arrived with a back injury. When we signed Amrabat, he had like a little niggle or something that was wrong with him. Mount instantly injured when we signed him. You know, there's a weird, like, injury curse going on, and I'm not sure what it is. They need to get to the bottom of it. Obviously, it happens, it's a freak accident, but when it happens 65 times or something, that's when you start questioning things, right? But it's not great. 3 to 6 weeks. Yeah? If it's 6 weeks, he misses the games against City, Fulham, Brighton, Liverpool, and Southampton. If he misses the majority of it, which will take him like up until mid-September, towards the end of September, which is just not good at all, especially when you consider the centre-back situation at the moment. Matthias de Ligt is still not happening, still lingering, agreed personal terms weeks ago, but still can't agree on a fee with Bayern Munich. I thought initially that deal would be pushed forward a little bit more because, you know, we're strapping for centre-backs in a minute. Maguire's only just come back from injury. Johnny Evans is there and thereabouts, but do you want to start the season with Johnny Evans in your team? When's Lissandro going to come back? And how long is it going to take him to get up to pace? Will he start against Man City, which is next Saturday? Because he's not even back in training yet. I know he may have been doing some work, you know, wherever it is. I don't know if he's in Argentina still or... but he's not back with the team and he's not in pre-season with them. So I'm starting to look at them. It was the same thing with Shaw. You know, how fit is Shaw going to be when he gets back? So are we going to start the Premier League season with a disjointed back four again? Back five, whatever you want to call it. I can't personally be bothered with that. We had that for the whole of last season. And I thought, you know what? I could see Yoro and Lissandro starting. Now I'm like, I don't have a fucking clue. I don't have a clue. Dallo, probably. Onana, probably. The rest, you guys fill in the pieces, the missing pieces of the jigsaw, because I genuinely do not have a clue. It's weird because it's similar to Manu last season, wasn't it? Kobe Manu, big game starting against Real Madrid. A lot of people interested to see how he gets on. Was fantastic against Arsenal. And then he picks up a massive injury, which takes Manu out until, was it mid-November when he came back? And obviously had a stellar career since he came back. But same thing with Yoro, you know, it looked promising from the games that I've seen. You can only go off little snippets and bits of, bits and bobs, because I always played 45 minutes here and there. But he looks confident, good on the ball, quick. You know, made a mistake against Arsenal, I think, but then made up for it and got back, made a recovery tackle. Looks the part, looks the absolute mustard as a young centre-back and a serious prospect. But the fact you're out for 3 to 6 weeks and you're going to miss, like I said, the City game, the Fulham, Brighton, Liverpool and Southampton, they're pretty important fixtures. So unless Man United bring in a Delay or another centre-back, I'm a little bit worried, I have to be honest with you. I'm kind of sat there like, because the defence is pretty leaky. Maguire looked very, very stiff and very, fragile and didn't look himself. Evans is okay, but only when you play a certain system. It's like, I don't know. Ross Hughes saying, why do United players get injured so much? That is the $1 million question, Ross. Nobody knows. I don't think anyone knows at the club. There is a curse, man. I'm telling you, there's a real life curse. I'm not superstitious by any stretch of the imagination, but let me tell you, it's something fucking funky is going on. I'm absolutely convinced of it. Brian Case, good evening, Nick. Hope you're well. Good to see you, Brian. Hope you're good, mate. What notification said 7 p.m? Sorry, I've got a lot of stuff to do after. I mean, I literally, people won't give a shit about this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I finished work. I came in. I've done a members video, scripted and filmed a members video, and edited the majority part of it for you guys. And then I'm doing this live currently right now, and then I need to go out and get a few bits and stuff. So that's why I've gone a little bit early. So apologies to people. I know they have a certain schedule and certain times, but it just had to be done. And I wanted to do a live, so that's why we're at 10 to 6 basically going live. Bring Delay in now, I say, says Dino. Get him training with the lads. Don't want the same mistake as last year. Absolutely. Don't think Delay is coming from what Muppeteer said on his video on his channel last night. Seems United aren't keen on him. That's bullshit, though. How can United not be keen on him? You've agreed personal terms with him. Ten Hag's worked with him before. How could you not be keen on him? That makes no sense. And I love James. James is on the channel tomorrow. So I'll definitely ask him about that. But I don't know. That's bizarre to me. I'm not sure. Nick has never read Treasure Island and the Black Spot. The Black Spot, that's what I'm calling it now. That's our curse. If Chelsea and Villa continue, also you could come 7th. I'll give you that. Nah, we're not finishing 7th or 8th again. I think we push back up into the top 4 personally. But again, it depends how we start the season. Could have and I keep reinstating this every show that I do, or we do together, right? I think it's going to be a laggy start to the season again. You've got your defensive issues. We've still not signed a midfielder, by the way, so we're going to be starting the season with Casemiro in the midfield, which is red flag everywhere. He's going to be diving into people and picking up red cards and shit. How fit is Hojlund going to be? Is he going to be ready for the start of it? I'm not necessarily concerned about the attack because we've got Ahmad, Garnacho, Rashford, Xerxes, obviously there as well as an option. So the attack, I'm all right. I'm just looking at the midfield and the defence at the moment, and I'm like, I'm not sure about this. But we'll talk about one of the attacking players because it's kind of the perfect segue. Amad Diallo did a presser last night. I thought there was some very interesting things in there. Being asked about the game time, obviously a little bit frustrated last season, didn't get as much game time as he wanted. And it seemed at one point last season that he was kind of looking like he was going to move on. And he was like, I'm not playing. I'm constantly there. You've had Forson who's played ahead of him. Anthony played ahead of him. Every Tom, Dick and Harry, basically, Pat from the corner shop has been playing ahead of him. And he just could not get a look in. And anytime Eric Ten Hag got asked about this, he'd always say, he's come back from a big injury and blah, blah, blah. But so did a lot of players, and they just chucked him straight back into the team. So that never really surfaced with me personally. That never verified that excuse. Just for me personally, I thought, nah, he should have been playing. And you guys were the exact same as well in the chat. Every time we spoke about it, Ahmad deserved more minutes. Ahmad deserved more minutes. Lo and behold, when he did get game time, absolutely killed it. Looked really, really good. Rarely had a bad performance. And has looked sparkly in pre-season as well. So, you know, there's a right amount of hype around him at the minute. You know, he's had a couple of loan spells. Didn't really work out at Rangers. Look phenomenal at Sunderland. High praise from Tony Mowbray, the was Sunderland's player of the year, basically. And now he's finally getting his chance, and United are putting trust in him, and they want to tie him down to a new contract. I'm sure them discussions will start in the next couple of months. So I'm happy about it. I've always believed in Ahmad. I've always thought he's a top talent. He just needs nurturing the right way. And he got asked about the players around him, about Rasmus, Garnacho, Obi-Martin, all these kind of youngsters. Says Rasmus is a good guy. He's from Atalanta like me, which I completely forgot. They've both played at the same club. So we've got a good relationship. Kobe and Garner, we have the same agent now. Garner, we have the same agent now. And Kobe's a beautiful guy, nice guy, smiling every time. I'm happy to be part of this team and friends with these guys. And I'm loving it. You know that picture that we saw in the FA Cup? You've got, I can't remember kind of the lineup, if you will. But I'm pretty sure it's like Kobe, Ahmad, Hojlund and Garnacho as like a 4. And you're looking at that and you're thinking, these guys are all under 22, 23, I think. Exciting talent. You bring Yoro into that mix. You know, Obi-Martin, who we've just signed as well, who's a lot younger than these guys, but could potentially be the third choice striker. I'm liking what Ineos are doing. They're looking at United, they're like, right, they've got core solid players who've come through the academy or who they've bought from elsewhere, and they're integrating really nice. What you then need to do, and what Gary Neville alludes to all the time, is the fact that, right, you've got these players, surround them with the right senior figures to guide them through. Otherwise, they'll end up losing the way, and you don't get the maximum potential out of them. So that's what I think Ineos want to do. And, you know, you've saved yourself millions with some of them, which you have to give credit to the previous regime in a sense, because someone like Garnacho, for example, they went out and got him from Atletico Madrid, I think. And it was like 500 grand or something. Arguably now he's definitely a 50 million plus winger. So fantastic. Obi-Martin, who's a 100 million pound player. I'll argue that with anyone to the death. Ahmad is tricky. His valuation hasn't shot up yet, but I believe that will do. And then Rasmus, I think we'll look back in, you know, a couple of years' time and we'll say, you know, it's a pretty good deal. At the time, you're like 70 million, you know, he's a 40 million pound player. But the investment long term should work out. So you're looking at that, and again, I allude to this in the video that I did on Chido Obi-Martin, so I don't want to give away too much, but when you invest in things like this, you look at where Real Madrid's structure is. They've gone from signing Galacticos to signing the next Galactico. And you look at their squad, and I don't need to go through the players because you're not thick, you all know who they are, and they're all under 25, and you're like, holy shit, for the next 5, 6, 7 years, they could dominate and still have a sell-on fee, which is crazy. So, yeah, I'm not saying United are adopting the same model, but you can't not look at that and be like, that is the way to go now, especially with the way, you know, financial resources are and stuff in football. So I believe that's the right way to go. And I think players like Ahmad, honestly, it's exciting. We've got some serious young talent at United and they need nurturing. Yeah. Kirk Howcroft, the season is fucked if we don't get legs in midfield. I agree, Kirk. I absolutely agree with that. Uarte seems like the one. You've had a lot of movement on João Neves now. I think they've just agreed a deal with Benfica for, I think it's 60 plus 10 million euros. And they're sending Renato Sanchez on loan to him. I think that's the deal. So with that happening, I think you will start to see movement on the Uarte deal. I think the back end of this week is going to be important for a couple of deals to get through. But yeah, it's all lingering at the minute. We had a very quick start. You know, you get Yoro in, you get Xerxes, everyone gets excited. And then, you know, 2 weeks basically have gone by where it's just been flat, really flat. And I think one of the main reasons for that is because we need to sell to buy. It's as simple as that. We need to sell to buy. So that's why some of the deals are taking long. But we did have a deal announced last night. Chido Obi-Martin, here we go. A very young, talented 16-year-old who will potentially be Man United's third choice striker next season. He'll play in the first team when needed. So this is kind of the career path that they've put the blueprint out for him. When you think about Hojlund, Xerxes, and Chido Obi-Martin, young prodigies under Ruud van Nistelrooy, all different types of strikers. Again, it alludes to what I was talking about before. Very, very exciting. and I can't wait to see how he cracks on. But I filmed the video on that, so like I said, I'm not going to go into too much depth. Everything you need to know about that player, if you're confused, you don't know what he's like, what type of profile, what the numbers that he's putting up at Arsenal, all these kind of things are all mentioned in that video, and that is for members exclusive. So that's going to drop within the next couple of days, and that's for you guys who are always supporting the channel. If you want to become a member to see that video, click join button next to the notification bell or the link in the description and become part of the Real Red Ultra community if you want to. Like I said, it's like £3 a month, so up to you guys completely. Now, moving on to a little bit of transfer news in terms of outgoings. Scott McTominay. This is, now I'm going to kind of preference this, or preempt this, sorry, that this is TalkSport that reporting this, okay? Let me echo it out for it. This is TalkSport who are saying this, so take it with a pinch of salt, absolutely. And that's my first thoughts as soon as I saw it. Justin, Fulham are ready to submit a £30 million bid for Scott McTominay. Now, if this is true, then I would absolutely take that money, because I think that's a fair price. We turned down 30 last summer, and he's gone and scored 10 goals. So if anything, he's worth more, because he's been a pretty important player for United. And Eric Ten Hag echoed these thoughts after a pre-season game, which instantly made people thought, oh, well, he's going to stay then. But if Fulham come in with that kind of money, I'm pretty confident United would accept that. The question is that money then going to be used on a player like Ugarte, or was Ugarte already in the plans and then we'll use that money elsewhere? That's what I want to know, because if we're just doing that and then we're not going to add another player on top of Ugarte, then I'd obviously just rather not sell him. If they're doing it just to balance the books, then I'd rather have the player than the money. Money means nothing on the pitch. So I'm interested to see what they're going to use that for. But let us know your thoughts and feelings, whether you're on TikTok Live right now or if you're on YouTube. Smash a like on the video for us as well, and subscribe to the channel. We are currently on 6,274 subs. So if you're not subscribed to the channel and you love football content, you like talking about transfers, football, United, etc., then yeah, click that subscribe button. I put a poll up at the start of the show saying, should we push the delete move now? Obviously, given everything that's happened with Yoro, 91% said yes and 9% said no. So some people, yeah, still not convinced on delete, and I absolutely understand it. Don't worry, be happy. I think we will be fine, says Richard. UTFR says Cheeto. Is that the new chant for him? We've also nicked a young talent from Palace as well. Yeah, I've seen that, the winger. I should have mentioned him, to be fair. Yeah, I absolutely know you're on about. And look, when you look at Crystal Palace's conveyor belt as well, they've produced some talent. Michael Elise, Eze, even players like Mitchell. A couple of other players as well. Like they produce talent, top talent. So if he lives up to any of their reputations, then absolutely fantastic business. And we need to be doing more of this. Where does this leave Ethan if we bring him in? Ethan Wheatley, that's an interesting conversation. Where does it leave Joe Hugel as well? Obviously, he's just gone on loan to Wigan. So quite stacked now, or getting stacked in that striker department. But when an opportunity comes along, this Chido Obi-Martin, he's like scored the most goals in the league. He's putting up numbers. Scored 10 in the game against Liverpool. 10 individual goals. So you look at those kind of figures, you're like, okay. Green flag. We need to bring this kid in. But I take your thoughts on that and your worries in that sense. Dan Fenton, hi lads, thought it was 7 PM. So yeah, sorry Dan, I didn't mention at the start of the video. I've got so many things to do today. Plus, already recorded another video as well on Chido Obi-Martin. So yeah, it's a very, very busy day for me. I'm just trying to cram everything in. So yeah, apologies, gone live a little early. Alistair Laird, how good is Hannibal and how would he do at Rangers if we sign him? If you want my honest opinion of Hannibal, there is talent there, but it's not United level. So I could see him going to Rangers and being a very important player for him. And I don't mean no disrespect with that, but for United, he ain't a first team player. And I've said that consistently as well with him. I don't believe he's a first team player. I reckon United needs to keep Hannibal. He has the potential to play in the Prem better than McTominay. Not in my opinion, but again, this is what it's all about. This is why we have a community, because everyone's entitled to their opinion. And listen, I've been wrong plenty of times before. So, yeah. Thank you for all the follows on TikTok as well. Thank you for the people who've been subscribing and liking the video. I'm going to get onto the Real Betis preview now. Of course, we play them at 3 o'clock in the morning tonight if you live in the UK. And I said at the start, I can't see anyone staying up for that personally. If you do, fair play to you. You've got more bollocks than me, because I'm in work and I'm not staying up till 3 in the morning. I'm watching the game till 6. especially when the second half in pre-season, so it'll send you to sleep in itself. So I'll watch that either on my break or when I finish work. But look, United's tour so far, 1 out of 3 wins. You know, we got beat by Rosenborg, we beat Rangers, and we lost to Arsenal, didn't we? People say we won on penalties. Doesn't matter. But the one thing I will say, it's not always about results in pre-season, because it can go one way or the other, and you can still have an amazing start to the season, or it could go really poor, you know, regardless of however you've played in pre-season. But the one promising thing I've seen is the patterns of play, the intensity, the pressing, how direct we've been, how positive we're being. That I have liked in small increments in games that I've seen. That's what I've been really impressed with. I want to see a bit more of that, more sustained play for, you know, 60, 70 minutes. Maybe start keeping them on a little bit rather than taking them off at half time, depending on the fitness levels. In regards to Real Betis, they lost. They won the first game against Salzburg, but not the Salzburg from Austria. It's a different kind of Salzburg. I've never heard of him before. But they beat them but lost to Liverpool 1-0. So again, mixed bag for them. Again, you can't read too much into preseason. Anyway, they finished 7th last season, so higher than us in that regard. We finished 8th in the Prem. They finished 7th in La Liga, so maybe it will be a bit of a blockbuster. Of course, they've got veterans like Isco, Bravo, Fekir, Fanals. You know, they've got some players who have been around the block, who are not too daft. So it's not going to be a very easy game. Be relatively competitive, I'd like to think. But yeah, I think individual-wise, I've been very impressed with Mason Mount during pre-season. Another one who I've been singing his praises. Even though he got all those injuries last season, people writing him off very quick to say he's shit. He's such a bad signing. I mean, and I'm like, mate, the guy's been injured. He's hardly had any chance to play whatsoever. You know, give him a fucking chance. And look, pre-season, he's starting off really well. If he can stay fit, I'm telling you now, he will be an important cog in that United machine. 100%. Mount, been very good. Ahmad, I've already spoken about. I think that right wing spot's his, unless Eric Ten Hag's adamant that he wants Garnacho there, in which case I won't argue against it. And he'd be like, you know, Garnacho was good for us last season. The other side is what I'd question, Rashford. What's going to happen with Rashford? What's going to happen with Sancho? What's going to happen with Antony? All these players. Someone is going to get, you know, kicked to the curb, basically. Stay on the bench. But yeah, them ones. Collier as well, I forgot to mention. He's been super impressive. And everyone's talking about, you know, who are we going to sign as a number 6? I don't think he's ready to be, obviously, a permanent player there so far. But I'm sure probably a lot of people said the same thing about Kobbie Mainoo, didn't they? I'm not comparing him. I'm not saying he's the same talent, but I think it's interesting. And I was reading something about Toby Collier as well, actually. Let me just get it up for you. So listen to this. Ten Hag likes Collier's ability to keep possession in midfield, look after the ball in tight positions, even when being put under serious pressure. He remains calm and composed and finds teammates with quick passing. Collier's positioning, discipline, movement, and ability to disrupt opponents has also won him praise from United's coaches, though he needs to show some improvement in his attacking game. United believe they have a rare talent in their midst, and Collier's first-team debut is expected to happen early in the new season. He's a pleasure to coach. He's so low maintenance. What I mean by that is you don't know he is there. He gets on with his job. He regularly puts in displays 8 out of 10 at the least. I think this is one of his youth coaches. He had the best running stats, runs 13 kilometers a game, breaks things up. You want 11 of these type of players in the team. You know what you're going to get in training. He works hard. He wants to improve. He's intelligent. Everything you're hearing right now is like, yes, yes, yes. He's a good all-around kid as defensive midfielders go, and it is quite a disciplined role. He's probably the best in the country at doing it. That is massive praise. Massive, massive praise. Charlie says there, Collier definitely looked ready for the first team. I agree. He definitely deserves a chance, at least. And this could be another one off the conveyor belt. Amazing. Collier began training with the United first team in February this year and impressed enough quickly to earn a place on the subs bench for 8 first-team games, 7 of which were in the Premier League before the end of the season. Of course, he's doing well on the tour now as well. So let us know your thoughts, people, on his individual performances. What you think. Is he ready for first-team action? Have you been impressed with him on pre-season tour? Let us know. Neves to PSG, so hopefully Ugarte movement happens. Dan saying, I think Hannibal needs to move on. Best of luck to him. McMillan saying, do we see Mount as a false 9 against Betis now that Hojlund is out? Seems plausible. You could put Mount there. You could put Ahmad there. I'd probably play Hannibal or something, I'm guessing. I don't know. But I could definitely see one of them playing there, or even Rashford potentially. Hopefully, Amas has another good game. To be fair, Mount's been good. Ahmad on the right, Garnacho on the left for me. Toby can do a job when needed. And Dan saying I reckon Toby could be the next Manu. It would be great. I wouldn't personally put him on that pedestal individually. I don't think he's Manu level of talent. But not everyone who's coming through will be Manu level talent. I think he could be a good squad player. And then slowly grow into that role. But he's certainly receiving high praise. He works extremely hard off the ball. He's got things to work on, which you will do as a young player. But I have faith in him. I think he's going to be a top midfielder. Ash is saying all quiet on transfers at the moment. It's because we need to sell to buy. The reason why the Mazraoui deal hasn't gone through is because we're waiting for West Ham to agree a fee with United for Wan-Bissaka. That's why that deal hasn't happened. The De Ligt deal is stalled because Bayern are demanding 50 million. And we want to do like 42 with add-ons. Plus, we need someone like a Victor Lindelof to go, etc. And you know, it's all a domino effect on each one. UTFR, I met the lady that Collier lives with at the FA Cup. She's a friend of a friend, and United have massive hopes for him, and rightfully so they should. So they should. He's been one of the bright sparks of pre-season, and I hope we get that. You know, Ten Hag set the stall out last season when he said, you know, 2 talents every season. And, you know, when you get ones like Garnacho and Copy, it's very rare. They're like the shiny Pokemon cards. They are like top-level talents come through. You won't always get that every year. But if you can get even squad players that come in and they have an effect and they do a job and they can grow into the role, there's nothing up with that either as well. You know, you can get them from all kind of range and formats. So, excited. I'm definitely going to watch the game in full tomorrow when I finish work. I'm gutted it's on so late. If it was on like at 12 or something, I'd probably watch. But 3 in the morning against Real Betis, I'm like... Oh. Fair play to you. And you know, you kind of get a taste of what it's like for international fans, don't you, in that regard? You know, some of the lads on the channel, Shreyas and Dan, are from India. And sometimes when we're playing like Middlesbrough in the FA Cup or whoever it is, they're watching that at like 3 in the morning. You know, so fair play to international fans. These guys are doing this, you know, year in, year out. We have to do it for pre-season, and that's it pretty much. So shout out to them. FFP got all teams by the testes and Alps are difficult. Yeah. Where's the business from City? Who did they sign? Savio? Where's the business from Liverpool? Just got a new coach. You know, Arne Slot. And they've not even bought him a signing yet. You could have Trent leaving. There's interest in Endo from France. You know, who else? Who else are doing business? You know, I think Chelsea, Villa, and United really done like the big business. I can't think of anyone else. Newcastle, have they signed anyone? Nope. And they're one of the richest clubs in the league. So FFP, as whoever mentioned that, McMillan, sorry, has well and truly got everyone by the nuts. Squeezing like that. McMillan saying it's on at 4 a.m. here in South Africa. We'll be having sweet dreams then. Don't blame me at all, mate. Yeah, not watching 3 a.m. Watch it tomorrow. Definitely watching against Scouts on Saturday night. 12:45 kickoff. Yeah, I'll watch that for sure. Well, Nick, that's the joy of being retired. Depending on how drunk I am, I'll watch it. Well, Richard, I hope you enjoy it, mate, and I hope you well. And I hope everyone else is well. Thank you very much for tuning in today. Again, I apologise. Sorry it's an earlier show, but trust me, there's genuine reasons for it. But I had to go live. A lot of things to discuss. If anything breaks with this Scott McTominay thing, because it seems to be moving quite quick, whether TalkSport are talking shit or not, I'm not entirely sure. But if anything breaks on that, I will go live, or anything else at all, because we could see movement within the next couple of days, probably towards the back end of the week, I'd imagine. So yeah, as always, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. If you are new on TikTok or new on wherever it is, you know what to do. I don't need some ideas. If you want to subscribe to the channel, then yeah, click that button. And I will see you guys in the next one. Look, we're halfway through the week. Thursday, Friday, and it's weekend. Yeah? Let's have it.